My name is Kai Sabid. I'm the CEO of Markanyx, and we're here today to talk about the latest version of Totara, so Totara 19. So throughout the presentation, you will see this QR code here, and that will take you to our contact page. So don't worry if it disappears at some point, it will show up again, and you'll be able to use the QR code to reach out to us or follow up with some questions if you need to. And because Totara 19 has many features, you will see that we won't have time to cover all of them. So we will post in the chat some of the links or a few links to our blog where you could see more about Totara 19 and the features that we won't be able to cover in this webinar. And before we move forward, I would like to start with a land acknowledgement. So as a Canadian company headquartered in Edmonton, we at Markanyx respectfully acknowledge that we are located on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional land of diverse Indigenous peoples, including the Cree, Blackfoot, Métis, Nakota Sioux, Iroquois, Dene, Ojibwe, Saulteaux, Anishinaabe, Inuit, and many others whose histories, cultures, and languages continue to influence and enrich us. So without further ado, I'll start with a quick presentation of the company for those of you who aren't too familiar with Markanyx. So we're a one-stop shop that specializes in digital transformation through web solutions and learning management systems. We work with different industries or different organizations, from corporations, regulatory bodies to NGOs. And our mission statement is very straightforward. We would like to provide a seamless transformation through digital, through web development and online platforms that are user-friendly, personalized, secure, and multilingual to ensure the best possible experience for our end users. We have reached over 1 million learners through over 200 platforms. We've been around for over a decade, and we have partners and clients in 5 continents. And we have provided over 30 LMS integrations as custom solutions throughout the years. And the question that comes back sometimes, or that sparks the discussion, is why are we doing all this? Because there are challenges in today's education and training ecosystem or environment. And one of them is the struggle to ensure that training programs remain aligned with constantly changing compliance and regulatory standards. And when we fail to comply with these standards, we can really have financial and administrative penalties and reputational damage, and even potentially operational challenges. Another challenge that organizations face is the deployment of new education or certification platform is not really the end of the solution. It's only part of the solution. And then the platform, if the platform's benefits or if they don't align with organizational goals, or if they're not clear, the participation rate will be low, which puts eventually the return on investment at risk. Same thing with implementation and integration. So if we struggle to roll out the initiatives in a smooth and orderly manner due to either complexity or competing priorities or anything like that, then that puts in danger the implementation of the LMS. So that's why these things are here to basically push us to think of ways to solve these challenges and to exist as an organization and as a solution provider. So the solutions that we provide are based on 4 different pillars. So first of all, we like to approach things in a methodic way and in a process-focused approach. So we try to analyze workflows and identify opportunities for data-driven improvements that integrate effortlessly into an existing learning, development ecosystem without having to destroy everything and build from scratch. The other approach is that we think of it as a client-centric innovation approach. And this means that we combine our organizational vision with innovative methodologies creating flexible solutions that evolve with strategic goals of our clients and partners. So that way, the end user is the goal and the customer is the goal. The third pillar is the alignment with industry standards. So that means that we adhere to industry best practices, legal frameworks, and corporate policies, ensuring that ethical, relevant, and scalable programs are adapted across various sectors. So the fourth pillar is the end user impact, which is the end goal as well, right? So we try to tailor our user experiences to meet real needs, boosting engagement, improving learning outcomes, and delivering clear value to stakeholders. And how do we do this practically? So through LMS implementations and development, the compliance digitalization. So that's where we work with our customers to look at their workflows and try to improve them and digitalize them and make them as efficient as possible. And the course development. So we work with our customers to understand their course modules needs. So we work with their stakeholders and we build the courses that they need for their platforms. And then, of course, through web development and integration of specific third-party systems, whether it's for SSO or data synchronization or any other need. And we do work with different industries as well. So corporates, nonprofits, healthcare, energy, manufacturing, etc. And the competitive advantages that we like to stress on are our flexibility to work with every possible challenge, as we have seamless integrations through our platforms. And that allows us to always base the approach as a solution-oriented and a process-based, instead of trying to remove the existing and try to replace it with our own approach. And then we can do that because we have that expertise. We've been doing it for over a decade. So that's how long we've been working in the learning management system industry. And also the ability to be a one-stop shop comes from the ability to really integrate and talk to different systems and different third-party systems like CRMs, HRIS, ERPs, etc. So some of the organizations that trust us, you may recognize some of them. You may be in the room today and you see your logo. So we're happy to work with different organizations across Canada and outside of Canada as well. And we're here today again to talk about Totara. So what is Totara? Totara is a fully customizable platform learning management system that enables organizations to train their workforce, improve employee engagement and performance, and satisfy compliance. So I said three things very quickly, but we'll talk about them in detail and how the products or the features that are in Totara really reflect what I just said. So how big is Totara is a question, is a relevant question. So Totara is used across many countries, so over 53 countries. It is available in over 36 languages. Over 21 million users worldwide use Totara, and over 1,500 organizations throughout the world. It is also important to note that we are the trusted Canadian partner for Totara, which means that we are the sole trusted partner in Canada. So how does Totara help an organization? So first of all, it really minimizes cost and maximizes efficiency through the automated workflows that sync with HR systems or third-party systems, which helps the onboarding and really reduces the cost when implementing Totara from scratch. And it helps also maintain and enforce compliance at a scale. It also helps you train, retain, and upskill your staff through the performance and the learning approaches that are available. And we will delve into that in detail in a little bit. And the third point is improving the business outcome beyond compliance. So because you have that compliance aspect or that performance aspect, it also helps you go beyond what you need to do to an enjoyable system that is engaging and that is collaborative and social in its approach. So some of the advantages of Totara: that is flexible, it is trusted by millions, so you have a very huge community that supports and uses the system. It is comprehensive in terms of functionality, and we can also customize it thanks to its API. It is cost effective compared to what you actually getting out of it. It's not just an LMS, it's much more. And and it has it allows for a very configurable and scalable system. So some of the organizations that use Totara worldwide, so I talked about some of the verticals earlier, but you can see here technology and media, finance and insurance, retail. So I'm sure you recognize some of the logos in this slide. Moving forward, so Totara is, of course, an LMS. So it would have anything you'd expect from an LMS, such as audiences. The audiences in Totara allows us to basically group certain people together based on criteria that could be a skill, role, or profile, a user profile. So a simple example of this could be that users who are in Quebec need to have access to certain courses in French. So in that case, anybody who has French in their profile could be automatically added to the Quebec audience, and then they are automatically offered courses in French. So if a new member or a new employee logs in from Quebec and they have their language as French, they will be automatically added to that audience, and they will automatically receive the courses that are in French. So you set up your workflow once, and then it just does the work for you. You don't have to do these things manually. And so it is very helpful, and it saves a lot of time and improves efficiency throughout the process. We also have custom reporting. So if you have an LMS and you don't have the proper tools to report on the data that's in the LMS, that's not the best the best use case. So that's why Totara comes with a dashboard, actually, of reports that are available from the get-go, that you could use as they are, or you could customize them, add and remove columns and data points without having to actually develop the report. It's all through the user interface. So you don't need to be a programmer or to understand the data structure behind the platform. Programs and certifications are structures that are allowing us to build pathways to reach those certifications or those completion of programs. And the pathways could be different for a certification and a recertification, for example. So that allows for a detailed approach and a very structured or organized method of getting these series of courses done, depending on our needs of certification and programs. Personalized dashboards allow us to have different views based on roles or based on responsibilities in the organization. And we will see a little bit later how this can be materialized. Content authoring. So you could have your own courses or course modules that are imported to Totara, or you could build your own content on the platform, which is why you have content authoring there. So it could be something basic as an HTML page or an exam, or it could be an advanced interactive video, a forum, or many other branching scenarios or interactive content that could be implemented. And then content marketplace. So if you would like to use an existing course or course material, you could always link to LinkedIn Learning, for example, Open Sesame, GoOne, or other content marketplaces. We also have a large library of courses that are available either through Scrum-based content or bite-sized videos and different formats as well. So if you are interested about this, ask us about it and we'll give you more details. One thing that I didn't mention, but it's just too big for just an icon, it is multi-tenancy. So if you're using Totara, you have access to a multi-tenancy approach, which means that your your platform could be tailored and branded to different organizations that could be living within the same website, but segregated and do not collide with each other. So if you're also a provider that has different clients which need different sorts of brandings, this could be a very important feature for you. So what is new in Totara version 19? That was just a preview of the Learn platform in Totara for those of you who aren't very familiar with it. But now we want to know what is new. So the first and maybe a big change is that Totara now is included of Totara Learn and Totara Perform, which means that there was an amalgamation of one of the products that was there before. So it used to be comprised of 3 products, now it's only 2. So Totara Learn just became bigger and more powerful. So what is in Totara Learn today? In addition to everything I just said, which is the learning management system, we have access to a learner experience platform, or an LXP, that helps elevate the learning even more. So we get that collaborative and social approach to learning here. So that is achieved through the curated learning playlist that allows learners to access a collection of resources tailored to their learning needs. We also have personalized recommendation based on the skill, based on the user behavior and the interests that are expressed in the user profile. There's also a Teams integration that is part of the Totara Learn right now, which means that within your Teams window, where you have your chats, where you have your channels, and maybe a lot of meetings, you could also have a tab that takes you to your Totara platform. So from within your daily workflow, you have access to your learning management system and to your learning content. So again, this is high on efficiency and it's an amazing feature. Collaborative workspaces. So we'll touch on that in a little bit, but essentially these are site level forums that allow for interaction between different people, and they could be public or they could be private depending on the purpose of the workspace. And they're very inviting and they're very friendly, honestly, because you can have an interaction with people, and you have a library space for sharing resources, videos, documents, etc. And then you can comment and chat and react and interact based on those library items. Shareable resources. So this, of course, allows people to collaborate and work together and share knowledge and have a better experience throughout the LMS, journey. And user engagement insights for identifying talents from users, leading and contributing to discussions and going above and beyond to develop their skills. So that all, I think, wraps up the learning experience platform and how the amalgamation with Totara Learn has happened. So what else is in Learn? Besides the collaborative workspaces and the playlist, we have an AI-generated personalized recommendations and course tags. So with that, we also have the ability to see some other features. And before I talk about the layout itself, actually, I'll just talk about the layout and then we can tackle the other item I had in mind. So first of all, we have a very fresh, slick UI, which is called the Inspire theme. And we get a clean theme out of the box. And we have this collapsible navigation drawer that leaves more space or more real estate for the catalog, for the dashboard, and any other central information that might be needed. And we also have the option to customize these shortcuts in the nav drawer. And that helps us access more important or more commonly used features in much fewer clicks. So I'm personally a fan of this new theme. And this also shows us that the catalog has improved. So it's never been easier to navigate with the ability to filter based on category or content type, which could be a course, program, or certification, as we saw earlier. But it also could be a playlist, a workspace, or a resource. So this is where the amalgamation of Learn and Engage comes together, and where you have this catalog of all different activities that are searchable easily. So I talked about workspaces earlier. This is an example of a workspace that's called Onboarding. It's a public one. So users can add to this space here. They could add posts, and then you have other users that could comment or like or interact in any kind of way they want. We have a library tab here. We have a members tab, so we can see how many members are in there. And we could also add those audiences I talked about earlier. So instead of adding members individually, if you have the audience that works on human resources and onboarding, then you can just add all of them at once without having to select them. So that's one of the ways also that you could improve these workflows and these processes. It's also important to note that you could have multiple owners of a workspace. So in case somebody is on vacation or not available, you have other owners to help with the administration. And you could also link courses to workspaces for a more powerful learning path. So if you are in this workspace, you could, from the library, link to a course, and then that ties in the social aspect of learning with the learning management system. And moving on to the next item, this is the AI support I mentioned earlier. So this is a very basic start of it, which allows you to generate tags based on the course content. But the more important thing here is that it's really the AI framework that's added to Totara, which allows us partners to build custom tools that are enhancing the usage of the platform, like the teacher assistant that builds courses that we will be releasing soon. It just builds course content based on prompts that you provide them. So you could say, write me a page about the history of Alberta, or you could say, I would like a quiz about personal protective equipment in the workplace, and it would develop a quiz based on that. The other thing I want to mention in the latest version of Totara is the optimization of content creation. So if you are sort of a lazy person like me and you already have a certification and you want to add a new one, you can go to the top right and clone the certification. And you get to clone the whole certification, or meaning with the notification, with the content and the existing details, or everything that's in there. Or you could choose from the check boxes and only select a few items, or none of them. Just basically the shell of the certification, and then change things however you like them. The other item is Perform. So Perform is a performance management system, or that is available in Totara. You could have it from the get-go, or you could just use Learn and then use Perform, or you could only use Perform if you want to, if you're only interested in that aspect. And what it gives you is the opportunity to have performance activities such as check-ins and 360-degree feedback, skill and competency management, and goal setting and tracking, of course, because if we can't report on these items in our LMS, then we're not really using them to our advantage. So quickly, I will talk about some of the items in detail. So performance overview allows users to measure, monitor, and manage their goals, competencies, and performance activities. I talked about the feedback, which helps us gauge strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities by balancing self-evaluation with input from peers, from managers, and of course, the reporting on all of these. The ability to have goals, either personal goals or company goals, and drive organizational alignment, and allow managers to help their employees and support them with a plan and with feedback. So also the ability to capture frequent check-ins and discuss a team's member ongoing performance with regards to goals, but also with regards to aspirations and where they want to be in the company and how to get there, more importantly. So the skill development is also another feature here, which allows us to bank on the competencies and how to close skill gaps across the entire workforce. So that also aligns with some HR departments where they work on succession management. So if you have a pool of, say, 20 execs and you're preparing for the next senior VP, you want maybe the candidates to have competencies that align with leadership management and the ability to run more than 50 people, and the ability to manage budgets. So when you work on those competencies, you can see who has them, who is getting them, and how to get them there. And then you can sort of groom your employees to get to the point where you want them and they want to be, of course. So I'll talk a little bit about Perform in detail. And we can see here that we'll have some pictures, but also a bit of items to talk about. But feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and we can answer them in a little bit. So competencies, I talked about them briefly, but they provide transparency and create hierarchies around the skills and capabilities employees need in their role. So what do we need to achieve our career wishes, basically, and how to get organized either by audience, position, organization, or individual in that competency world. We also have the ability to clearly show the training that is required to get that competency. So what does it mean to be competent in information security? So you need to get certain courses, maybe. You need to have certain performance activities with your manager or with peers. And this is all in the competency definition. We also have scales, and the scales can be different based on a company or an organization. And then you get the ability to define those scales and to play around with what they mean. So a competency could be at the beginning a non-competent, and then once you learn a bit more about it, you get the beginner stage. And then once you are you finish it, basically you get that competency. So you are competent in that regard. We can also upload those competencies through importing it if we have it already, or maybe if you're migrating from a different system, or if it's been there sitting in an Excel sheet and you're ready to make that step forward and use an LMS, you could import it without having to enter everything manually. Another important feature is the achievement path. So basically, we're helping the staff reach their goals, build a highly skilled and motivated team, and telling them how do we get there. So the path should ideally align with the competencies. So the training, the achievement paths with training aligned for each of your competencies. Use flexible options to rate and score competency improvement. So flexible options, meaning it could be based on course completion, it could be based on an interaction with a manager or other performance activities. We could also see the competency scales for individuals before and after the training, so we can see the progress and tracking. And we can support the teams in achieving their professional goals and being there to really move forward as a team and also as an organization. So the performance activities, I mentioned a few of them earlier, but appraisals, feedback, and check-ins are different tools that you could use, all or some of them, to achieve your organizational needs. And it ensures, or they ensure, the confidentiality with comprehensive access and visibility controls, which means that if you have a performance activity, it could be visible only to the learner themselves, or it could be visible by the manager as well, so they can support. There could be a peer review, for example. So it really depends on how we would like to set it up. We could also automate the scheduling of the performance in a flexible manner. So it could be a daily activity, for example. So you could have the supervisor check in with their team, or every member of their team, that they're wearing their personal protective equipment before they get to the factory every day. Or it could be a once a week or once a month review of the process we've had for the previous X number of weeks or X number of months, and just to see where we're at, how do we improve those processes that we have and the actions that we take as an employee. And that helps us, of course, build editable and searchable reports. So these are the reports I was talking about earlier. So you have some reports that are available by default. You can use them as they are, or you can customize them, adding or removing the number of columns we have. And you could use those reports and put them in the custom dashboards I also mentioned at the beginning. So if you are a manager or an executive and you want to see this at a glance, as soon as you log in, you could see your reports, your graphs, and your charts in the dashboard. And you can, of course, drill into the details of performance activities easily through those custom reports. So the reporting is a very powerful tool, and it exists part of Totara Learn, but it also reaches Totara Perform, because there's a lot of information in Perform that we want to really organize and provide reports on to different parties. So it could be the manager, it could be the users themselves, or an executive that wants to have at a glance a review of what's happening. And one of the cool features as well is that you can link certain questions or have certain questions with a specific ID, and then pull questions into a report using that ID. So you could report on one of the questions. So as I mentioned earlier, you could have appraisals, and one of the questions could be, did John wear their personal protective equipment properly today? And put an ID on that one. And then you can just pull that question in a report. So that shows you, how that user performed throughout the month, maybe. So you want to check it every day for compliance. And so having this simple dashboard with the reporting and the detailing into the performance activity really allows you for more control and more hands-on approach with your performance activity management. And once we have these graphs and visualization of the data, we could really build on a long term and see where the gaps are and try to fix them. The reports could also be exported in different formats, such as PDF, Excel, and more. And you could also schedule them to be sent either to certain people, manager, executives, or audiences, as we talked about earlier, but they could also send externally or outside the organization if you provide an email. So these are the features that are available, or some of the features that are available in Totara and Totara 19, of course. And then some of the changes or maybe improvements in the Totara 19 Perform module is the goals. So the goals are there to help for personal and organizational goals. And one of the major changes, I think, is that goals now can have a list of subtasks or list of tasks, and the task could be courses. So if we look at this example, become an information security expert, and we have two courses there. So there's a complete information security course, and then there's another course. So the first one is completed. The second one is not completed, but it's at a 50%. And we can see this at a glance. And we could also have comments relevant to this specific goal. So a learner and their manager could comment on this one. A learner could ask for certain pointers, or they could provide feedback, and a manager could support their learner throughout the journey of achieving this goal. So what is happening really is these goals are smart goals, because we have ways to measure them. They are specific, achievable, relevant, and you have a due date here, so they are time bound as well. So it's literally the definition of a smart goal. Another thing with performance activities, or maybe the overall changes in performance activities, is that it's enhanced or smoother administration flow and user experience, and the reduction of number of clicks, the enhanced configuration for performance activities for a greater flexibility around visibility and manual completion. This manual closure option actually makes it easier for learner to skip optional items and return to update them at a later date. Learners also have the flexibility to add or remove items like competencies, goals, and courses from performance activities that have been created and submitted prior to the review process being started. So more flexibility around administration and process. It also helps us identify groups of learners who share a specific competencies, helping you, the user or the manager, to facilitate targeted support plans. So I tried to cover the Perform module in really a short time. And together with Learn, what we get essentially is a very powerful learning management system that goes beyond the basic course modules where you check the boxes and where you learn, to a performance management system. So if they work together in a cohesive way, you really get hopefully the engaged and motivated staff that you're hoping for through the use of performance management activities. And it could also help align the training and development goals with corporate goals and with career paths. And of course, we are able to measure this progress thanks to the competency reviews and the reports that we have available out of the box. So that's how learn and perform really tie in together and allow us to really achieve a lot of things through one single platform instead of using different tools. Now, the changes in Totara 19 did not spare Totara Mobile as well, which is great. So you have the ability to have learn on the go, basically, and offline SCORM players, push notifications to stay updated of what happens. And we'll see a little bit later how the app looks like, but this is a quick glance of what it could have in terms of courses. So at the bottom, you could see, for example, these 4 icons. So the first one shows you the enrolled courses, and the second one shows you downloaded content. So you have the ability to download content, so you can use it when there is no internet connection or when you're offline. You could also have the notifications, so you're always up to date with what's happening or what is due, what is completed, and your learning profile at number 4. So this is important because, especially for organizations that have employees that do not always have access to laptops or to computers, and they're generally on the move. So learners like that are often on the go, and they need learning requirements, and they could be not having a stable internet connection. So it's really helpful for them to either download content and use it later, or use something that does not require a lot of bandwidth. And of course, push notifications are a great way to remind them that there is content that is ready. And if they're not enrolled in any course, you could encourage them to go look for available courses that are available on the LMS. They could enroll themselves in. So here we'd also see that the features mainly, or the changes mainly in Totara 19, are covering the accessibility and the ability to have a more convenient system. So we can view the courses in a tab or in a list, and we could expand or collapse the activities associated with the courses for a more friendly or mobile-friendly experience, and use different types of media such as SCORMs or embedded videos, or the combination of the above. And a few more comments on this. So the Totara mobile app is available for anybody, so you don't have to have an extra license or pay extra for it. So you can just download it and start using it. You could use the app as it is, or you could also customize it or have it branded for your employees or for your company. You have different authentication options, including single sign-on and manual login user. And of course, you have push notifications. You have the offline player for SCORM activities, and personalized notifications as well. So the ability that is provided to users, or the learn anywhere, anytime, basically, is very helpful. So users can see course summaries and their progress, or track their progress online with every single course or topic. They can also, when they're offline, complete the programs or complete the courses, and then when they are back online, the app will synchronize with the server so that the progress is not lost and it's always synchronized. You can also view the current grade out of the maximum possible grade for the course. So it's really giving you on the go whatever you need to improve and learn more without taking too much of your time, or without requiring a lot of setup or desktop or a computer, basically. So in a nutshell, or in a few words, the biggest changes in Totara 19, or the most important ones, I would say, it's a new, easy to use, attractive user interface, very slick, very clean approach. Also, an enhanced user experience with fewer clicks. Also, enriching the LMS within LXP. So that's the amalgamation of learn and engage for a more social, collaborative learning. And the introduction of the AI framework, which paves the way for more development and more features to come. And the enhancement of goals and performance activities, as well as the accessibility and convenience of the mobile app. So I'd like to know, actually, we'd like to know what features did you like the most and what features would you like to see in the coming versions? So what I will do, I think, is I have the ability to start first poll. So it's on, and I can also take questions if you have any questions. Yes. Sorry, I didn't know the chat was disabled. Yes, please use the Q&A and I'll try to answer any questions you have out there. I'll also see if I can enable the chat. Or maybe you'll just use the Q&A just for being more practical. Okay. All right. So let's see. So the user interface is basically is a winner. Okay. AI, of course. Okay, so I will share this. So the first question I have here, how has the integration of the LMS and Perform affected price? That's a good question. So the integration of Engage and the LMS, Perform is still there. It still can be used if we want to, but not part of the LMS. It is a separate module. So I think the question is about the integration of the learning management system and the LXP. So the price has slightly increased, but very slightly, but it is still less than what you would have gotten the learn and the engage together before. So you're actually getting more for less. I hope that answers the question. I will end this poll now, and I will share the results for everybody to see. And clearly, the user interface is a winner. I agree with you there. The AI also paves the way for more development. So absolutely, absolutely. I will launch the second poll, and that will allow us to see also what you have in mind for. Okay. So please let us know what features would you like to see in the coming version. While you do that, I will be putting the blogs I mentioned in the chat, so that way you can also visit them, because there are a lot of features that are available in Totara 19, and obviously we won't have time to cover everything today. But feel free to check out the blogs and let us know what you think of those, or if you have any comments, if you have any feedback. It's always interesting to learn from what you have to say. So the first one that I'm putting here is chat. And all right, so a couple of questions here. Can I upload a Word or PDF and have the AI create a course or interactive activities? So that's a great question. Yes, the teacher assistant that I was referring to earlier, that's where we're getting. It is something that we're available to do. We were able to do right now because of the support for the AI engine. It wasn't available before, but thanks to the AI framework integration, we are able to build on it, and we will be releasing it soon. It's not available as of today, but that's something that we will be soon releasing. Great question. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so all right. I'm gonna go back to the slide deck here, and I still have the QR code available. So if you are interested in more questions, or if you have if you would like to request a branded demo, please feel free to scan the QR code and connect with us, and we'll follow up with you and go with a customized free assessment and customized demo or free consultation. Any more questions? Are there tools available to help migrate existing content? Yes, so there are ways to import data, and thanks to the API as well, we can basically build things in bulk. So let's say you're using a third-party system, and it has questions or quizzes. So instead of having to retype that every specific quiz, we could insert quizzes through the API, and that's something that we would implement as developers, basically. Depending also on the type of your content, the answer could be different. But existing content could be anything. If it is SCORMs, of course, yes, because it's SCORM compliant. If it is records, so like records of people, so users, then yes, absolutely, we can import users in bulk. Yeah, I hope this answered the question. But if you have more details or a specific use case, I'm happy to elaborate more. Okay, so any e-commerce module? Yes, absolutely. Actually, we have our own e-commerce module, and that is a very powerful tool that allows you to resell existing courses. So because we have some clients that use their own courses and they don't provide them for a fee, they're mostly internal, but some would like to actually resell their courses. So we built an e-commerce model about a year ago, and that allows people to buy a course, but it also allows them to buy multiple courses or multiple seats for multiple courses. So that's very helpful, especially if you're in the health and safety world, where you need to, you're a manager and you need to buy maybe 10 seats of OSHA or WMIS and TDG. Then you can just buy those seats and then offer them to your users at a later date. This also allows you to manage coupons or discounts, either flat fees or percentages, or however you want to set it up. Thank you. The content marketplace, yeah. So we have a very large library of content, and the subjects or the topics are very wide and broad. So we have things like, for example, the Office suite, or how to use Excel, and introduction to pivot tables in Excel, but also things that are on the leadership and productivity, or more of what we call soft skills, or the knowledge work, basically. So it is really broad about what you could do, or what you could use in terms of learning content. And the format is also different. So SCORMs, we have videos, so short videos of like between 3 and 10 minutes. So these are just to get through content real quick. And also there is audiobooks if you're into that. So it's really, really broad, and it's available in many languages as well. So we have English, French, Italian, Chinese, or Mandarin, I should say, Spanish, some in Arabic as well. But there are many other languages actually. So it is a very broad library. And then those are also available through some of our partners. So we have a large network of partners, and Totara has also a network of partners. So we can leverage these partnerships to provide solutions that are tailored to our clients' needs. And the partnerships are not only for course content, they're also for other things like proctoring. They are for example, incentivization and gamification inside Totara, for example, where you have leaderboards and users competing and earning coins or redeemable points they could actually use to buy real life items. So yes, if you're curious about partnerships, please let us know. Ask us, and then we can tell you exactly how we could support. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no other questions, oh, there is one more. Oh, okay. So this question is about multi-tenancy. So can each tenant have its own branding while sharing course materials? Yes. So when you build different tenants or different portals, sometimes they call them, you could have different branding. So if you're a main provider and you have different customers, so each customer could have their own branding. And you could decide to share course materials with them, because you may be the sole provider of courses. So you're selling the same course to different organizations. Or you could have courses that are partner or tenant specific. So courses of tenant E are not available for tenant B, and vice versa. So you have that ability to manage the segregation of content between tenants. Yeah, great question. Thank you. I realized that is the screen sharing there? Yes, it is there. Okay, perfect. So you have the QR code, as I mentioned earlier. So feel free to reach out with any question you have, or if you are interested in a specific part of the LMS that I didn't cover today, or I covered briefly because we didn't have time to cover everything, and we would be happy to connect with you. We are also available on our different social media platforms. This will also be recorded. It is recorded, and it will be available on our YouTube channel that you can already visit and see some of the previous webinars or previous podcasts that we had. Let me go to the last slide. So those are the social platforms that we're available on: YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, of course, X or Twitter, as it's known previously, and Facebook. And the QR code is still there. All right. So I think this is a good time to give everybody a few minutes of their day. Thank you very much for being here today. Again, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.